Thank you for joining our podcast today. Today we will be talking about transitioning from Business Productivity Online Services BES to Microsoft Office 365 and using the BlackBerry Business Cloud Services. What you will want to do before you transition is pull up a user list and specify which users you want to add to the BlackBerry Business Cloud Services. Easiest way is to use the get-msonline user commandlet and use the get-msonline user subscription commandlet as well, which will allow you to pull up the specific subscriptions for your users and sort them and limit which users you pull out. Now, creating the CSV for BlackBerry Business Cloud Services is very easy. It is simply a list with the header of email address and the email addresses therein. You can get as complicated as you want, adding different groups, adding different BES policies, however you want. But we're just going to make this very simple today. First thing we're going to do is to log into the portal with your admin account. Now, in order to configure and start your admin account and Business Cloud Services, you need to be a global admin. Now, in order to activate your BBCS service, you need to select Setting Up Email on Mobile Phones. At the very bottom, there's a big button that says Enable BlackBerry Business Cloud Services. At this point, you'll get a request to authorize the access for BBCS. You select Yes, you select OK, and then you now have the authorized services down here. You simply click Manage, which will take you into RIM's network, will log you in automatically with your credentials. Alright, so now that you've accessed the Business Cloud Services, select Sign Up Now. Scroll through the Terms of Service, select I agree, and select Continue, and then the additional addendum. And this will create your tenant for you. Click Login at this point, and it will take you into your tenant. Any further time after this, you will not have to go through all of that. It will simply log you in, and you will see this. Now, in order to add your users, you need to have users to add. So, we will select Add New Users. And we are going to actually add users in bulk. Alright, so once you have your CSV uploaded, it will verify that everything is correct. Hit Next, Allowed, select a location for them. Hit Next, assign whichever license you need to, and strip out whichever ones that you don't want them to have access to. They do need Exchange Mailbox in order for this to work. Alright, so all of these have been selected and created. We have test 2 through test 6. At this point, you go into the BlackBerry Business Cloud Services Administration Service. We will just call it BAS from now. Hit Create User. You select Import New Users, and you get Data Source File. Select Browse. Find the CSV file that you created, the BBCS user list, hit continue. It will go through and check the users, make sure everything works. And now we've confirmed that all of these have been added. So at this point, you can create these users without an activation password, or you can assign them a policy or available group. At this point, we're going to create them without an activation password because we're going to assume that they all can activate through the onboarding manager, which is a web page and does not require an activation password be created prior. Now what you'll notice is if you have managed Bez before, this is Bez 5.0's interface. You have the ability to create groups and policies, as well as add and remove users to this. You can monitor wireless activations, deployment jobs, view attached devices, and do whatever user management you need, such as wipe devices, enable activation. And even though you have 3 different options to activate, you always have the option to over-the-air activate like you would with a normal Bez. But you can also use the web onboarding manager, you can use the desktop onboarding, or the desktop manager, or you can use over-the-air activation. So at this point, the users are added and enabled, they can now be used. Now we've demoed the CSV edition. Now let's say you have another user that you need to add. We don't have a CSV for it, we're just going to add it normally. Going to assign it everything that it needs. We'll create it. And the other option you have here is to select Create User. And since this is test 1, we'll just search by a display name. Alright, well, you notice this is now searching for test 1. What you will want to notice is that you have the ability to create and manage users and policies as well as groups. That is because this user is currently set as a global administrator. Alright, now that you see it has found the user, it's found this via EWS, and so we have this user selected. We can add it to whichever group we want. We can create it with an activation password, without one, or with a randomly generated activation password. We'll create it with an activation password. This will allow the user to activate over the air. It can be whichever you want. There is no security limit for the activation password since it does not actually authenticate to the Exchange server. They're raring to go. So you hit create user. The default is 48 hours, which gives them 2 days to activate. They'll probably want it yesterday. Select create user. It is now ready to go, and the user can activate successfully within 20 minutes after you have selected them for activation. What you will want to make sure is that if after that 20 minutes they cannot, you'll want to see whether or not they have the etp.dat email sent to their mailbox. If it does not, then you will want to troubleshoot mail flow.